This is Speak Up. I am Sandra Schulte. Welcome back to our show. Today I have the great pleasure of introducing to you Rachel Lane. She is the owner of Leash and Learn. Leash and Learn provides city smart dog training and behavior modification to dogs and their owners. She has a master's degree in applied animal behavior and welfare from Virginia Tech. She is a certified canine behavior consultant and a certified dog trainer. Rachel is an avid student of positive reinforcement training. She translates cutting-edge animal behavior sciences into city smart training for your dog. A happy dog is a safe dog. Rachel's mission is to help clients and their dog learn how to enjoy safe and happy city living, one paw at a time. Although behavior is a complex science, Rachel believes in creating training plans that ensure success for clients and their dogs, while making those plans as straightforward as possible. With patience, practice, and consistency, three important things that must be done together: patience, practice, consistency. Rachel helps you and your dog develop a deeper relationship while meeting your training goals. She is joined today with 1.5-month-old Cosmo. But now, at this point, I give you Rachel Lane. Take it away, Rachel.
Thank you, Sandra.
It's
for
a pleasure to have you come.
Nice. I'm excited to be here.
Rachel, what are some things about a dog that either promotes training or inhibits training in a dog, or indeed any animal? What are some things about a human that either promotes training or inhibits training in a dog, or indeed any animal, or even perhaps a child?
So when we're training our dogs, it's really about the relationship between the dog and the human. So when we're thinking about the picture as a whole, we want to think about what is this dog capable of, and what is this person capable of, and how can we make these things work together. So when we're looking at the dogs that we're training, if you have a purebred golden retriever and they love playing fetch, we know we spent hundreds of years breeding them to retrieve, and fetch is the best thing on earth. Their genetics are telling them that they want to chase that ball. It might be hard to teach them that they don't actually want to chase that ball. So we're going to want to look at what is going to be realistic for the dog and what is going to be realistic for the people, and how do we make that work together.
And that have the person understand that that is.
Yes, it's definitely, owner education is a huge part of it. They need to learn how to work with their dog. They need to learn how to cue their dog to do the behaviors, and they need to learn sometimes what are realistic goals and what are unrealistic goals, and how can we make some compromises so that everybody's needs are going to be met.
What are some things, what are some do's and don'ts in training or in living with an animal?
So when we're training our dogs, just like you said before, we want to focus on practice, patience, and consistency. Once you have determined what are your house rules for your dog, everybody in the house needs to be consistent with these. And just like going to the gym, you're going to build up
everyone in the household.
Everyone in the house as much as possible. If the dog is getting different rules from mom and different rules from dad, there's going to be a lot of confusing outcomes there, and everybody's going to be frustrated.
So everyone has to understand that this is, must be.
Exactly.
What is the role of praise?
Praise is a great way to reward your dog. You want to talk to your dog while you're doing training. You want to tell them all the time when they're being the best. In addition to praise, you're probably going to want to also use some other type of reinforcer. I love using treats. They're easy, they're fast, you can get a lot of repetitions really quickly. You could use, like the golden retriever, you could use fetch as a reward. So praise is a wonderful reward, and I love pairing it with something like toys or attention or treats as well.
It works faster, probably.
Yeah.
What is the role of gesture?
Gesture. So I'm assuming that when you say gesture, we're talking about our hand signals that we often use with our dogs. They can help your dog learn a lot more quickly. Your dogs are going to learn your body language a lot faster than they're going to learn your verbal cues. So if we're teaching a dog to sit, we're going to want to do something like sit, and you're going to use the hand signal at the same time as the word. There was a study that just came out and showed that they had 3 different groups of verbal group, only a hand gesture group, and then one group of dogs who learned their new behaviors with both. The dogs who learned with the hand gestures and the verbal cue learned faster.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. What is the role? You just answered my next question, which was, what is the role of words combined with gesture? You just answered that. What is the role of repetitiveness in training?
Yeah, we want to be repetitive. You have to, your dog is not going to learn that sit means sit if you only do it once. They need to do sit lots of times. They need to do it in lots of places. They need to do it with lots of distractions around them. So we're going to want to practice 2 or 3 minutes, 2 or 3 times a day just to start. And you're going to want to practice in your house, in your lobby, in the park, on the street.
I like the idea of staying in the house first because there are less distractors from strange things.
Exactly. There's less distractions, and that will make it easier for your dog to learn and less frustrating.
And then you go to the lobby, and then you go to the street.
Yes, exactly. Just like layering those distractions kind of one at a time as best we can.
Does conquering fear because of street sounds play a role? How does one do that?
So there are a lot of dogs who move to New York City, and they have a little bit of a hard time with these loud noises.
Like garbage trucks, for instance.
Garbage trucks, sirens, there's a lot going on. And a lot of dogs find it scary because they've never lived in a place that had so many loud noises all at the same time. What we're going to want to do is start inside with them if we can, just like with our sit example before. And you're going to want to do some counter conditioning and desensitization.
Examples, please?
Yes. So we want to get them less upset about the noise. And at the same time, we want to help them have a positive association with the noise. So you might play some garbage truck noises on YouTube, and then while the noise is playing, you feed your dog some treats. And after you've done that for a couple weeks, you go outside, and they're likely to be less bothered by the actual noises on their walks.
Yes, I had to, when I took my cat out, I had to initially hold him in my arms with my hands on his back until I got him past the area where the garbage truck was making the noise.
Yeah, he's a lucky cat to get out on walks, but the noises can be hard.
Yeah. What is the role of love between the animal and the owner in training?
I mean, love is so important. You should love your dog, and your dog should love you. It's just like any relationship. You need to build it up. You need to focus on being respectful of each other. And at the end of the day, that's why we have dogs, to love them most of the time. That's why we have companions.
And I think perhaps the dog is going, because the dog feels that you love it, and maybe you speak to it in a loving voice while you're training. It will.
Yeah. That's definitely you definitely are going to build a better relationship speaking respectfully to your dog and
maybe you'll learn faster.
Yeah.
How do you train an animal not to pee or defecate on the apartment floor?
Yes. So usually when people are calling me for potty training, it's with a puppy. It's one of the most important things we want to do with a puppy is get them potty trained, and it is a lot of work. With a young animal, you want to take them, or a dog, for example, you want to take them outside about every hour or two, and you want to make sure that when they need to go to the bathroom, they're in the right place. So you bring them down every hour or two so that they don't even have the chance to have accidents in the house. You don't want them to learn.
When they're outside, how do they realize that they're supposed to pee?
So we don't want them to learn to have accidents in the house, so we take them out frequently enough that they happen to be outside when they need to pee. When they go to the bathroom outside, you make a big deal. You give them, yay, you're the best doggy. You give them lots of treats. Like, it's the most exciting part of their day is going to the bathroom outside. And then when they're in the house, you have to supervise them. 100%, if you're on your computer and you're doing emails, you're not supervising them. Like, you have to be watching them, like eyes on them, so that if you see they're about to have an accident, you can kind of scoop them up and run them back outside.
What if they pee on you?
Well, hopefully, once in a while that happens. Usually it doesn't. The goal is that it doesn't.
Okay. If a person lands in the hospital, how can a pet sitter conquer wariness on the part of the animal that does not know him or her?
So this is a great question. Typically when people are trying to meet a new dog, what they do is they take some treats, they put the treats in their hand, and then they put their hand out as the dog is eating the treat, or immediately after they go, "Good doggy," and they pet them on their head. A lot of dogs don't love that sort of introduction. And the safest way for somebody to meet a new dog in that situation, I would definitely use some treats, but instead of feeding the dog out of your hands, you're just gonna kind of throw some treats, and then the dog runs back, and then you throw a treat, and then the dog runs back. And you turn it into a really fun game so the dog is enjoying themselves with you, and then they're consenting to getting closer and closer and closer to you instead of kind of just grabbing them by surprise.
How do you train a dog not to bark in an elevator or the lobby?
I'm a big fan of elevator and lobby manners. This is a great question. I think it's respectful to have your dogs trained to behave properly in the elevator and the lobby, and I also think it's a safety issue. Typically when I'm working with a dog on elevator behaviors, we're gonna have them learn to do a sit in a corner of the elevator, and we're gonna have them just kind of stay there. That way you can kind of block them a little bit, and they learn the routine. They know I go in the elevator, I sit, I don't jump on anybody, I don't play with dogs in here. We don't want them sprawling out and taking up the whole space. And then as you leave the elevator, you're going to want to have them heel next to you through the lobby until you get outside.
What does heel next to you mean?
Yeah, so when we say heel next to us, what we really want is our dog walks, it doesn't matter what side really, but we want them walking right next to us, and their feet are kind of aligned with your feet.
How do you ensure that? Because most people have a long leash.
So we're going to teach them heel as its own behavior. And to teach heel, you just kind of want to give them treats for staying right next to you, and you also can shorten up that leash just so they don't have the opportunity to run over here 6 or 7 feet in the opposite direction.
How do you train a dog not to put its paws on everyone? For instance, on your shoulders.
Yeah, so like jumping up to say hi.
Yes.
So you need to try to train them in incompatible behavior. So if you want to say hi to somebody, you need to do something other than jump. And I mean, sit is a great option for a lot of dogs. It's easy, most people know it. So when the dog wants attention, they need to sit. And then when they're jumping up, you need to make sure they're not getting any sort of attention or reward.
Well, how do the dog is in the elevator.
Mm-hmm.
He wants attention from the person who just entered, and he's sitting. Well, the person who just entered doesn't know that he's supposed to be giving him attention.
So that's okay. So in the context of the elevator behavior, what we're gonna do is the owner of the dog is gonna have them in a nice stay. So in the elevator, we just don't get to say hi to people. Sorry, like that's the rule.
Mm-hmm.
It keeps everybody safe, it keeps everybody happy, and then maybe there's some other people that we can say hi to on your walk.
How does a pet person arrange this training? Where do you and your team do this work?
So I see private clients in Manhattan. I come to people's homes and work with them in their own environment, and we address the problems or behaviors where the dog needs to live, and we focus on the relationship that the dog has with the owner so that everybody is learning skills at the same time.
Now, if someone wants to get in touch with you
Mm-hmm.
to do this, how can they, folks, please get a piece of paper and a pencil so that you can write this information down.
So the best way to contact me is usually through email, and the
Slowly.
email is info@leashandlearnnyc.com.
Again, please.
Yep, one more time. info@leashandlearnnyc.com. Yep. So that's my email.
Rachel, what does reinforce mean?
So when we reinforce a behavior, we want to reward that behavior by making sure that whatever happens is something that your dog likes. So just like we've said a few times today, we have treats, we have toys, we have praise. There's a lot of things that you can use at your disposal. So when your dog does something good, make sure that something good happens. If you like the behavior and you want to see it happen again in the future, make sure you're not ignoring it. Make sure you are rewarding it. It's so easy for us to accidentally ignore all the good things that our dogs do. And just be aware. They're good almost all the time. Be aware of when you're giving them attention and when you're giving them treats, and make sure it's for doing good things.
Shall we bring our
Yeah.
Cosmo on.
Yeah.
I have the great pleasure now to once again introduce you to Rachel. Rachel, it's a great pleasure to have you come on the show.
Thank you for
And
having
I want to
us.
thank you for bringing Cosmo,
Yes.
1 5-month-old Cosmo.
Yes.
Cosmo and Rachel are going to show us some of the things that we were talking about. She's going to show you how to train a dog.
Yes.
Take it away, Rachel.
Thank you, Sandra. So this is Cosmo. He's about 1.5 years. He's new to New York City. He's only lived here for about 6 months, and he is going to help us learn how to train a dog today. When we're training our dog, one of the most important things we want to do is reward them for doing the behavior that we would like to see them doing. So I have my treat pouch here with treats. They are just these little small bite-sized pieces. As you can see, he really likes them. He's ready. He's waiting patiently for his treat. And we'll start with sit. Sit is a basic one that most people want their dog to learn how to do. So if he's standing here and he sits, you're going to want to give him the treat for doing that sit behavior. If we want a dog who learns how to lie down, he lays down and then he gets a treat for doing his down. Good boy. Okay. So when we are training our dogs, we reward the behaviors we want to see, and we make sure that we do not reward the behaviors that we do not want to see. Cosmo has only been in training for about 6 months, so he still has some things to work on, and one of the things that he finds challenging is sometimes not to jump. He's really friendly and he gets really excited and he loves training so much that sometimes he forgets he's not supposed to jump. When that happens, what you're going to see is most of the time I'm going to turn myself away from him and I'm not going to give him any treats or attention for jumping because we don't really want him to jump. So he's not going to get rewarded for that. Good boy. So if I want him to sit, we reward the sit with a nice yummy treat. If we want him to lay down, we reward him with a treat for that nice down. Now, the other thing that we were talking about earlier that I want to kind of demonstrate for everybody is that heel that we might do walking from the elevator to through the lobby and then out onto the street. Now, as I said before, in heel position, your dog walks nice and next to you. You guys are both going to be going in the same direction at the same time. So if Cosmo and I back up over here and he comes with me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a treat to get him right on my side. Now he's in heel position. And Cosmo does have some experience with this. He walks in a nice loose leash normally. And we just take a step forward and I give him a treat. We take another step forward, I give him a treat. And as long as he stays with me and he walks nicely right next to me, he gets a treat. And as you can see, his leash could be very, very long. But like this, I'm gonna step on it. He's gonna get tangled. It's not gonna work for us. So as I do heel with him, I'm gonna have this leash a little bit shorter so that everybody's safe, and then he's just gonna get treats for walking with us. And you're gonna do this from the elevator all the way through the lobby, all the way out onto the street, or any other place that you need him to be right next to you. Good boy. Oh, he's so good. Yes, good job. Yeah, good boy. And then he knows how to get into heel position. Good boy. Another thing that we talked about today that Cosmo is going to demonstrate for us is playing tug safely. He loves to play tug. He loves any sort of game. He's a really fun dog, and he's just started learning how to play tug. So the demonstration with tug, this is not a dog who has a complete behavior. This is a demonstration of a dog who is in the middle of learning this behavior. So you guys are going to get to see kind of what it looks like with some mistakes made. So the first thing I'm going to do is have him sit, and then we bring out the tug toy. I bought this years ago. I know it's exciting, and you can see he's waiting patiently. He does have a nice sit stay, and he's waiting patiently. If I were to wave it around way too much, he might break his stay to come and get it. Now he's trying it down. He can lay down. He's just not allowed to jump up and try to steal it. Now I'm going to say the magic words. Oh, not now. We jumped. We have to start over. Take it. Yeah, good boy. We can do this. He can have some fun. And then when the game is over, I'm going to tell him drop it, and he's going to drop it. Oh, he already knows. So Cosmo sometimes has a hard time waiting patiently, and then at the end of the game, he's so excited. Get off. Sometimes it's hard to drop the toy. Take it. Yeah, good boy. Good boy. Drop. Yes, beautiful drop it. Good job, Cosmo. Good boy. And then the other thing is that this is a tug toy that's brand new to him. This is much more exciting than most of his toys at home. So he is struggling to wait patiently, as you can see. He's done a couple little jumps in between. So I'm asking him to sit and stay still for about 3 or 4 seconds once the toy's in front of him. So it's in front of him. 1, 2, 3. Take it. Yeah, good boy. Good boy. And I'm not making it too hard. I want to set him up to succeed so he knows what he's supposed to do. Drop. Cosmo, drop. Yeah, good boy. Yeah. You forgot a treat. You forgot one. Let's put this away. Good job, Cosmo. Another thing that we talked about today was, what do you do if you're a pet sitter and you're going into an apartment to meet a dog or a cat for the first time and you've never met them before? How can you safely greet them? So what a lot of people do is they will take the treat and they put the treat in their hand, they feed the dog, and then they start petting them on the head. Now, Cosmo knows me and he still backed away a little bit. He was not a huge fan of that. So instead, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you, you're going to be our fake pet sitter. I'm going to show you what you would do if you were meeting Cosmo for the first time, and then you're going to practice it. So we're meeting Cosmo for the first time. We are still going to use treats. We want him to have fun. You're just going to take a treat and kind of toss it on the ground. He's going to go get that treat, and he's going to come back to me. Go boy. So I'm going to toss another treat on the ground. So what we want is that he is coming in to greet you with his own, like, he's excited. He's like, yeah, I'm so excited. I love this game.
Well, maybe he's afraid of it. He's backing away.
He might be, and that's why you're going to throw the treats to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you want to try a few?
All right.
All right, let me give you a few treats. Here we go. Ooh, good throw. All right, Cosmo.
Now I want to teach this dog how to sit.
Yes, we want to teach him how to sit.
And let's see. I have to put him over his head, and he sits.
And then, yep. So for
So he didn't sit. He
yeah, no, you
down.
did a sit and a down. That was perfect. So for you, he just did a sit and a down. So right now he's standing. Why don't you ask him to sit?
Sit, Cosmo, sit.
Perfect. Now he gets his treat for the sit. Now we can tell him to lay down by putting our hand down on the ground like that. Oh, he did it. Let me put him, sit, Cosmo. Oh boy. All right, do you want to try the down?
Down, Cosmo.
Perfect.
And now I give him a treat.
Yep, we give him the treat because we like it when he lays down. Nice. Good boy. Sit. Actually, come. Thank you. Good boy. Now let's just say we wanted to teach Cosmo a new behavior. We'll do spin, just because that's a fun, easy behavior. No pressure, not a big deal. I can use the treat as a lure, because you asked me, how do we get our dog to do these behaviors in the first place? One easy way is to use a lure. And when I say a lure, what I mean is I'm going to have a treat in my hand. I'm going to put it in front of his nose, but I'm not going to let him have it right yet. I'm going to use this treat. I'm going to slowly move it around so that he follows it with his body. So you see, I can kind of get him to go anywhere I want him to go, do anything like that. And then he just got the treat then at the end for following that lure. So if I want him to spin, I want him to do a cute little circle spinny thing, we can use a lure to help him learn that behavior. So we start with him right in front of us, and then we lure him around, and then at the end...
Do we say spin at the same time?
So first, we get him to do it, and then when we're going to add the word, we go, Cosmo, spin, then you do the lure, and you feed him the treat. I'm feeding him the treat not until he gets all the way back and done with the behavior, because it's a reward. You just did a beautiful spin, now you get to have your treat. So we tell him, Cosmo, spin, and then he doesn't know it, so we help him with this lure, and then at the end he gets that treat as a reward. So that's our basic, like, you get the behavior, you reward the behavior. That's how we train our dogs.
But I'm teaching him to sit. I have it on top, and I have to bring him, he's standing, and I have to bring him down.
Yeah, so if he was Cosmo. So if he's standing like this, and you want to get him to sit, you kind of bring it up above his head a little bit. And then once he's seated, he gets the treat. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. He's so good at sit, it's a little hard because he's kind of doing it automatically. He's doing it before we're asking. And it's just like the down. If we want him to lay down,
you have to.
So we tell him down.
Down.
And then once he's in that down position, he gets to have his yummy treat for doing what he was asked. It happens after. It's the reward.
Yes, but if he wasn't knowledgeable with the word down or sit or lie down, you have to put the feet in front of him.
And you lure him. Yep, exactly like that. Yep.
You're so good.
That was exactly how you would
good.
lure him into that down. You hold it right in front of his nose.
And it's a lure.
Me. We're not jumping. Come over here. Sit. So exactly, we use it as a lure. You put it in front of his nose. You use his nose to guide the rest of his body into that down position.
Very important.
Yep.
I want to thank you and Cosmo so very much.
Thank you.
For coming on the show and for training me and hopefully our audience.
Yes, hopefully.
On how to train a dog. And don't forget, if you wish to get in contact with Rachel, it's info@Leash and Learn, NYC.com.
Correct.
Thank you again.
Yes, Sandra,
Rachel.
thank you so much for having us. I had fun. Cosmo had fun. He had a wonderful field trip, but I think he's going to be tired.
This is Speak Up. This is Sandra Schulte. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the day. Goodbye.